One thing I think that most people are not prepared for when they become car owners is the maintenance. And one of the most important things that you can do, and also one of the easiest things you can do, is make sure your tires are inflated properly. There's a few reasons for that. Number one is safety. If your tires are too low of tire pressure, it can cause the rubber, the tires, to actually hit the rim when you go over like a pothole, and it will cut the tire, and the tire could potentially blow up, or at least your tire will go flat. If you're going at a high rate of speed, that can cause you to roll over or skid out of control. Another thing is that the electronics in today's vehicles that control the anti-lock brakes and the stability control, which keeps your vehicle not only from skidding off of the road, but it also keeps your vehicle from flipping over. That system was designed and engineered for a specific tire pressure. So if you're not running at that tire pressure, the system's not going to work as it was designed. It's not going to work as effectively, which affects your safety. What you may not know is it's incredibly easy to check your tire pressure. And I will take the guesswork out of it for you. I'm going to show you how to know exactly what tire pressure to put in. There's no guesswork there. You can find it on your vehicle. And I'm going to show you how to check your tire pressure, how to inflate your tire if you need more air, and how to deflate your tire if you have too much air. So let's start off with how much tire pressure, how much air does my car really need? Fortunately, every car on the road nowadays has a sticker. If you go to your driver's side door, open it, and look at the sticker on the frame where the door closes, you'll see a sticker. So this is the sticker inside my vehicle, and it gives me a couple of things. For one, it will tell you how many people it's rated to seat, okay? It also tells you how much weight you can put in the vehicle. That's people and that's stuff. And on this same sticker, it tells you the size of the front and rear. Some vehicles, sports cars specifically, have smaller front tires and wider rear tires, so you'll have a different number here. But most vehicles, you'll have the same size here. And then right here, cold tire inflation pressure. And here we see 32 psi in the front and 32 psi in the rear. It also lists information about your spare tire here. So what do you need to check your tire pressure? Very simple. You need one of these. This is a tire pressure gauge, and on here is it says PSI at the very bottom, okay? And that stands for pounds per square inch. And then there's numbers. On this one, this gauge goes all the way up to 75 pounds per square inch, or 75 PSI. Your chances are you're not going to need that. Most cars, whether you're driving a car or an SUV, and most pickup trucks only have between 32 and 35 PSI in the tires. Now, if you're driving a heavy-duty pickup truck, and of course if you're driving like a big rig or something, those tires have a lot higher tire pressure to accommodate the higher trailer towing capacity and the hauling capacity. But for these vehicles, it's not that much. Let's see how we actually check it. One thing to note about checking your tire pressure, you want to check your tire pressure when they are cold. As the sticker said in the car, it is the cold tire pressure, which means you don't want to have been driving in your car before you check your tire pressure, because as your tires warm up, the pressure goes up. And so your reading on your pressure gauge, your tire pressure gauge, is going to be off. It's going to be too high. So this is how you check it. I'm going to take the cap off. The cap just unscrews. You may be missing the caps, and that's fine too. And then you'll see your valve here. It's called a Schrader valve. Push it on there, and you will see, if you can see that, it's right at 32. Actually, it's at 33. Now, I've been driving a little bit, so the tire pressure has gone up a little bit. If it were too high, there's this on the opposite end. This is the end that goes on the valve that you press on there, and it gets a little air in there, and then this pops out and it tells you what the pressure is. If the tire pressure is too high, you flip this over and there's this little nodule right here, this little thing that sticks out. You just press this into the center. You'll see there's a little, looks like a little dot or a little shaft in the middle of the valve, and you just press that in and it will let air out of your tire. You just do that a little bit. If you have too much air, do that for a second or two or three, and then you recheck. If there's still too much air, do it a little bit longer and check again, and you just repeat the process until you get down to the proper rating. Now keep in mind, the tire should be cold. If you're too low, then you have to inflate the tire in some way. And these are the two common ways that you're going to pump up your car tires. Assuming you don't have a huge truck or a big heavy-duty pickup truck, these will work. If you do have a heavy-duty pickup truck, the PSI that you need in those tires is going to be way too great to use these pumps. But for most of our vehicles, SUVs and cars, and your half-ton pickup trucks, you're probably going to find these are just fine. Good old-fashioned bicycle pump and a 12-volt / cigarette lighter pump like this, which is the one that I prefer to use. Now let's see each one of these in action. So this is a bicycle pump. This is the end of the bicycle pump, and the way this one works is you push this hole onto the valve, and then you pull this lever out, and it kind of clamps down on the inside of this, shrinks down, and will hold onto the valve, and then you can pump up the tire. Now some of these work opposite. Some of these, the little handle here is up, you push it on, and then you push the handle down. This one doesn't work like that. This one works opposite. So I'm gonna put this on here, okay? A little bit of air coming out is okay. And then all you have to do is give it a few pumps. Now, your bicycle pump might have a meter on it, a pressure gauge. That's great. Those are the best type to have, because then you don't have to disconnect this and then check by hand and then get back on there and then reconnect if you didn't put enough air in there. This is definitely my preferred way to pump up the tires, and I keep this in my vehicle. Now I drive a Jeep, and occasionally I get off-road, or I'll be on dirt roads for a exploring or whatever, and I'll be off of the road for quite a while. So I'll actually let the tire pressure down to soften the road surface a little bit, and also give better traction. You need something to pump up your tires, and since I do that, on a regular basis, certainly more than anyone else, normally people don't do that. A lot of people drive vehicles that they won't take off-road. Well, I take this one off-road, and when you do that, you typically will find that off-roaders will drop their tire pressure. I don't want to use a bicycle pump to pump all four of my tires back up, so I use one of these. It has a cord. This goes into the car, plugs into the cigarette lighter, and then it's motorized. So I'm just going to, this has the same end as the bicycle pump. I'm going to put it on there. I'm going to now this has a gauge right here, a tire pressure gauge. You're not going to really be able to see it because it's kind of foggy or something. There was a sticker over here, a protector sticker. When I peeled it off, it kind of made it foggy, so it's hard to see. But this tells me when the tires are to a certain pressure. So I've pumped it up where it needs to be. That concludes pumping up the tire. One of the common questions that people have about tires is, how often should you check the tire pressure? You should actually check your tire pressure monthly, but I have another tip for you. If you go to a store like Discount Tire, I believe they will actually check and adjust your tire pressure for free. So you may want to check locally at some tire stores and see if they provide that service for free. If you did buy your tires at a store like Discount Tire, they will make sure that your tires are inflated every time you go in for a balance and rotation. And a balance and rotation should be about every 5,000 miles. Another question you may have is, hey Scott, why are you putting this on the Backroads Unlimited, kind of the travel channel? Well, Keeping up with your vehicle can either make your trip successful and enjoyable, or be a major pain, or even involve an accident. So for me, when I'm on the back roads anywhere, or the main roads, or the highways, the car just feels better when you have proper inflation. If you drive with low inflation, low pressure, the vehicle is going to be very squishy. It's going to be all over the road and not as stable. And if you drive with too high of pressure, then it's such a harsh ride, and the tires are louder. It just isn't a good mix, and it's not a good feel on the road. So from a backroading perspective, if you want to get the most out of your trips and have fewer problems, make sure your tires are at the proper inflated pressure. Well, if you made it this far in the video, thanks for watching. I hope you found this information helpful. If you didn't know how to check the tire pressure in your tires, this video probably did the trick for you. I hope it was simple enough. If you're wondering where I'm at, this is Lake Texoma, and specifically we're at Highport Marina in Pottsboro, Texas. If you're in the area or visit the Pottsboro area or Lake Texoma area, be sure to come by Highport Marina. Thanks again for watching, and if you want to see more and be up to speed on all of our future episodes, hit the subscribe button. That would be great. It's free, may not mean a big deal to you, but it helps me grow the channel and I'd appreciate it. As always, I'll see you next time.